Hello, everyone, and welcome to another musical analysis. It has been many, many, many months since I have done anything on my channel for a while, and I am in San Francisco and working on my master's in musical composition, so I'm excited for that, and I thought I'd jump back right into musical analyses with the Beethoven Fifth Piano Sonata, and this is actually a very interesting sonata in terms of uh, his his economy in his themes and his motives, and it's a real masterpiece in terms of craftsmanship. And everything is recycled, everything is deliberate, and his use of all these themes, you can see I've already doodled quite a bit. Um, it's pretty extraordinary. And to get things started, let's go ahead and find my pen. There we go. This was written between around 1793 to 90, probably 96 or 95, somewhere around there. I don't remember exactly. So this is a very early sonata by him, by Beethoven. So he's been in his early 20s. He just studied with Haydn. I think he stopped studying with Haydn at this point. But this analysis is going to be more on form and structure rather than harmonic analysis. That said, I will be throwing in a little bit of harmonic analysis every now and then when I feel it's important to mention it. But I'm going to be more or less focusing on themes, cells, motives, and the structure. It's a 3-movement work, and I'm going to be focusing really on 1 and 3 because these are sonata forms. The second movement is a sonatina form. It's an okay form. It's nothing too extraordinary. It's Beethoven's freedom, and I'll touch on it very briefly, but I won't spend too much time on that. So let's go ahead and run through the exposition. So here is the exposition being played by Pavelan Jepsen. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. It's public domain, so I should not get a strike for this. Here we go. Okay, so there's quite a lot to talk about in just the exposition alone. Let's go ahead and start back up to the beginning. So theme 1 begins, of course, right at the beginning. And we start off in C minor. C minor, we have this little figuration I call cell A, or motive A. He's going to be recycling this throughout the entire sonata. You have this little cadence right here, this half cadence. You have this really juicy, thick, diminished 7th chord right here acting as a dominant function right here. So it's basically, think of it as a 5, only a little bit more embellished. And then continues. Now this is what I call cell B because he's going to be, again, reusing this. This is not a different theme. This is still part of theme 1. We're still in C minor. One thing I should also mention is because everything he does here is deliberate and everything is recycled. You can see he's going to be reusing this little accompaniment underneath here again. and developing it. And one thing that's important is the use of threes. Number 3 is very important in music. J.S. Bach taught us this, is you can do something twice the same thing, but by the third time something needs to change. So he does 1 repetition, 2 repetitions, you can see he's throwing this down, throwing this up an octave the right hand, adding a little bit more harmony to here. Then the third time, rinforzando, and then he's using this as a syncopation, which we're going to hear back at the end of the exposition. So it's kind of a development of this right here, down to a nice half cadence. And this is more or less fragmentation. Half a keyboard here. So at this point, we're still in theme 1. I'm going to just put a mark here for later. And then he basically develops that a little bit. This is cell C. It's going to be used, I think, once or twice in the sonata, but it's not going to be used too much, but I highlighted it anyway. Here we have a big cut. I mean, it's big, very obvious. He has a measure of rest right here, not a fermata. And this is transition material, and there's a couple things I want to point out here. I'm going to turn up the volume on my keyboard because this is very important. You see where I have this circled right here? You have this D flat. This little is a Beethoven touch. So if I just play this kind of half step above this note and then a lower neighbor tone, and then resolving to so this is a nice little Beethoven touch. He uses this quite a lot in his music, and he also will use this theme several times, as he does right here, right here, here. So he recycles it quite a bit. And the other thing I have noted is this descending line in the left hand with the so you've got this this held. So this is a transition material. We're in A flat, by the way, but we are modulating, so this is why this is considered transition material. We have more transition material. We have a little bit more stuff right here. We're on the 5 of the relative major. So if we are in C minor, he's going to E flat major. So, and then he's got this nice little cell D, as I like to call it, because he's going to use this. I think there's a connection here with this little figuration in the tenor right here. Bum bum ba-dum. Again, you're gonna see this. I don't have enough colors nearly. I started to use gray. Bum bum ba-dum. He uses this at the in the coda right here. This little section right here. This rhythmic structure. And you can tell he's on a pedal right here, this B flat right there. He's just kind of holding it, sustaining, anticipating this resolution to E flat, which he does. And then we finally get into theme 2 right here. Ba ba dum ba dum. And now you notice it's highlighted, and that's because da da dum ba dum. So there's a relationship right here between this cell B. And it's interesting how he contrasts it with a descending line, or sorry, an ascending line. What's a good color to choose? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So you see this cell is going down in pitch. Well, this one is more or less going up. Has more of a rising figuration to it. Rhythmically, it's very similar, I think. It's not exactly similar. I mean, of course, you can have some freedom, but it for the listener, you have a sense of it doesn't stick, like it's not out of place. So then you have this nice little Alberti bass right here, and then he just builds upon it, has a little bit of fun with it. Boom. Here you have a nice 6/4, 6/4 right here. Um, and then you bring back the A motive or cell right here. And you have another 6/4, really resolving to a very solid PAC, a perfect authentic cadence, which really cuts the section into nice little pieces. So now we have the closing section right here. And then bum bum ba dum. Here's that little figuration from right here. Dum bum ba dum. So there's clearly a resemblance here. And then in the bottom, in the bass, again, this is very economical writing right here. Bum ba da ba da dum bum. It's kind of a combination between two things that I've noticed. This figuration up here, only switch the voices. You have the sustained, okay, I think it's a B flat or is it an E? What note is it? It is, yeah, it's a B flat. So basically just switch these two voices around, and he has, instead of this ascending, he has it descending. So this tenor, you see it's in quarter notes rising right here. And you see right here, it's descending right here. So it's not exact, but I think it's an artistic liberty that he has here. And again, he's still sustaining this this B flat right here, only in the upper voice now. So I think this is very deliberate. And then this this 5-note 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a semi-chromatic descent. It's not exactly, but I think it stems a little bit from this right here. It might not be exact, but it certainly sounds very similar. So again, Beethoven is extremely economical. There's not too much freedom in the exposition. I mean, everything is recycled from itself. So again, this is an excellent demonstration in craftsmanship, in composition, and really in how to make a sonata very economical and effective. Everything is related to everything else. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and play the second time through of the exposition and then go right into the development section. So here we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about this development section. And it's interesting to hear how our performer right here, I'll try not to bash on him too much, but so development section. So this is the playground for the composer now. He's already done his, he's already made his bed. Now it's time to sleep in it, right? Is that how the expression goes? Anyway, so he's introduced all the themes. He's proven that yes, I can write an exposition very well, and now it's his time to go ahead and have fun with them. So, development section opens basically with theme one. In this time with the Picardy third, rather, or the major mode. So instead of C minor, it's opening up with C major. Has this figuration going through here. And what he does a little bit differently is he uses these diminished chords right here to help him modulate to theme 2 right here. So he's going to F. He's going to F minor, which is the subdominant, or the 4. And this is a closely related tonal center, so he's not straying away too far. And we have this this section right here, which comes back. This this lower neighbor tone, upper neighbor tone. So he's, again, it's not accidental, and he's combining it from where is it? Yeah, right up here, this transition, the transition material right here. So he's using it right there. He's recycling that. And then he's using theme 2 right here, very obviously, with this Alberti bass right here as well. And he's using it in octaves. He's doubling the octaves right here. And this does a couple of things. This really emphasizes, this is a lot better piano writing. Really shapes the line a lot more to have 2 octaves. I'm going to come back to this blue boxed section later, but he's just basically playing around with this. So this section is more of transition material, actually from this point on, and from right here, he's modulating. He's trying to get back to C minor. From here to right here. So all of this, from here all the way to here, he's modulating essentially, very slowly, but he's working his way through there. This box section is, again, this a lot related to, where'd it go? To this section. I think it's got a little bit of a connection right here. These half notes. Da 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 ba, 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 bum bum bum. So I think there's a little bit of a connection there. And this, I think, is more of a variation or a fragmentation of this right here. So these two have, I think, something in common. You can see rhythmically they're very similar. Bum bum bum, ba-dum, bum bum bum, bum bum. So I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's very deliberate. And then he pretty much just plays around with that theme right there, and kind of develops it. Has a little bit of freedom, but right here is where it gets a little bit more important. You have a pedal point in on the dominant, and this is a classic giveaway that we are coming to the recapitulation very soon. And this is all this right here in this brown box right here. This, again, is not new material. This is basically a fragmentation or sequencing of the syncopation that we saw right here. So that's why it sounds familiar and not out of place. So, and he's just building down to this recapitulation right here, where bam, he slams you with this C minor chord. And then the recapitulation is pretty much the same as what we've covered earlier. Minor differences. He stops right here on this C triple octave right here. Goes into D flat and then modulates with the transition material like we saw before. Instead of going to the 5 of 3, he's going into the 5 of the subdominant, which means he can easily come back to C minor very quickly and easily. So you've seen all this before. Instead of it being an E flat, it's in F. So F major, totally fine. And this is kind of a surprising moment right here, this A flat, because we're in F major, and then all of a sudden what are we doing? He just kind of throws us under the bus and says, nope, we're back in C minor, because this is, again, the subdominant. We can just... He basically just brings us back to C minor with a nice 4-5-1 cadence progression, I should say. Of course, a lot more ornamented and interesting than what I just played. And he, as you see here, he, quote, develops theme 2 a little bit. And he kind of does. He takes it, he extends theme 2 through here. So, yeah, so he's going through here. Don't need to talk a little bit about this. Pretty much covered all that. You see pretty much the same. There's, notes here and there that are changed and certain figurations that are changed, but that's the freedom to not have it be a cut and paste, copy and pasting of the exposition. Then we have the closing theme right here. And the coda, which is a little bit atypical for Beethoven. It's rather short. It's just a big giant 5-1 in 2 or 3 measures. So with that said, let's go ahead and continue. I'm going to actually back up the recording a little bit to somewhere in the development section. So and development section right to the recapitulation. So let's do that. And there you go. There's the first movement right there. Second movement, I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm just going to go ahead and touch upon it. Yeah, I'm just going to play a little bit of it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there. Basically, it's in sonatina form with the absence of a development section. You see, I just marked out the phrases. I mean, this is stuff that it's pretty rudimentary in terms of ternary and binary form, stuff like that. Just simple 8-bar phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, another 8 bars. New section, we call it a B section. Another contrasting section right here. Another contrasting section right here. By the way, this must have taken him time to write out. These 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. What's that? That's a 64th note, and I mean, geez. So you have triplets. So these triplets are contrasting to the duple meter that was preceding it, so that has a nice contrasting feel to it, and then he brings it back right here to duple, and then a little bit of tuplets right here, triplets I should say, then brings back the A section right here, and Bob's your uncle, same recapitulation. And then he does a little bit of syncopation here just to make things a little bit interesting. Again, nothing too much. Let's move on to the third movement. The third movement is a lot of fun, and hopefully the performance is a little bit cleaner than the first movement. It's not, I can tell you that. I do apologize. It's a little messy, the performance is, but let's see what I can do. See if I can get it in the right spot. So the end of the second movement. And he does end it very nicely on this nice, just building it down very slowly. You can see how he's up in the treble clef and just slowly building it down. And third movement, prestissimo. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stop it and then talk a little bit about what we just heard. So, let's mark prestissimo in cut time, so it's extremely fast. That said, I don't think we should play it to the point where we can't hear. All this becomes a mush. So, just saying. Aside from performance opinions, so he starts off with this. He basically just introduces this motive. He just says, "I'm going to be playing it. Da 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 dum. Okay, I'm gonna. This is my motive. So I call it a cell or a motive. Da 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 dum. And then he's basically just using it as a sentence, or I'm sorry, a phrase rather. So got this going through here. And then it's not until this point where we actually start to he starts adding accompaniment, this agitato accompaniment, which contrasts, and we'll see this accompaniment later in the piece, in the movement. Here's a little variation. I think this is a variation off of the this motive right here. And this, I think, is just him having fun right here. He's trying to get down to he's trying to have a 5 of 5 essentially, and he does that by just going 1 5 1 5 1 5. Actually, he does it syncopated on the weak beats, so it feels really it feels syncopated. Boom 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 boom, and especially putting these accents on the weak beats is a nice little technique to really add some spice to the music. He ends on this big giant 5, and then he just goes right into the 5 of 3. Got a lot of colors and stuff happening right here. Now, what is this? Now, this is very similar to, I think, the main theme right here, the main little motive. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it's same rhythm. 5 eighth notes followed by a quarter note. So I don't know if that's deliberate or not, but it could be. It makes the music feel more consistent. And then pay attention to this accompaniment down here. Bum 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 bum. It's almost a dactyl. 1 bum bum bum. So he throws it down here. Now this is transition material. I call this transition material because we haven't had a perfect authentic cadence yet. Half cadence, half cadence, half cadence, there's our PAC right here. So from this point on, I call this theme 2. Your professor, whoever, might call it differently, but this is how I hear it, and this is how I feel it and see it. So we can have differing opinions. And what's really nice about Beethoven is he's got this nice little canon going on. And he's got this, this is excellent writing right here. So our rules of threes, by the way, come into play again. So he's fragmenting this. He does it twice. Here's the third time in double octaves. Gets a little bit more agitated. So he's building, and then he brings back the A theme right here to accompany what's happening above. Well, basically, this becomes the main line that we're listening for, and this becomes accompaniment. This is just a tremolo, so this is you don't sing a tremolo. You hear it. It backs the bottom up. So this is what we're listening for. And then we have the switcheroo going on here again, and then we've got the main motive up in the right hand. And then again, I think having a little bit of fun. And then again, one more time. This right here, this might look new, but I think this is a diminution, actually, of the B theme, this B accompaniment, bum, 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 bum. If you half these note values, so you turn this into a quarter note, you turn these two into an eighth note, to 2 eighth notes, you get this bum, 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 bum. Again, whether or not this was deliberate or not, I don't know, perhaps, but it certainly gives a reason why this is here. Bum, 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 bum. And then you have this nice just quarter notes. And then this is a funny moment right here. This is a variation of this having these 16ths up here. Bum, 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 bum. And this chord just sticks out in the middle of nowhere. It's just where did this come from? I think is this a B major? Yeah, it's a B major chord. Dun 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 dun. So it's kind of like he puts a rest, and then on the weak beat fortissimo right here. Bum bum. It's just the wrong chord. It's like an error. It's like it's like the pianist made a mistake, but this is like a deliberate mistake. Don't. And then this section, this little closing section, just a handful of bars right here. These are just contrasting. And this reminds me quite a lot of the Pathetique Sonata in the first movement. Bum, 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 bum. These fourths and fifths coming down to thirds. These kind of just coming together and splitting apart. This figuration reminds me a lot about the Pathetique Sonata. And then we'll talk about the development section in just a second after we hear what we just heard with fresh ears. So let's listen to the exposition one more time. So that was the recapitulation right there, or I'm sorry, the development section, and then just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bars long. That's it, just 11 bars long. It's an extremely short development section, but he's pretty much just developing and then just breaking apart the main motive right here. And then here's a precursor to the Fifth Symphony right here. This predates the Fifth Symphony by a good decade at least. So yeah, this little motive that Beethoven has came way before the Fifth Symphony was ever written. So interesting point right there. You also see this motive was even in his earlier works, some of his early sketches, even some really early pieces of his. He used this little 3 notes and then so interesting. But he just breaks it apart and then he's building. You see this nice rising line, a lot like the Fifth Symphony. So it's interesting. Recapitulation, same as before. Nothing really too much to be said. He has a little bit of differences in here. Yeah, let's go ahead and just play through here. So, the recapitulation, just a couple of differences in here. He's doing a lot of the stuff that he did earlier in the first movement, where he kind of throws this. He's in C major right here, right? C major, and then he just this A flat. He just introduces this A flat exactly as he did in the first movement with the A flat to tonicize the minor mode, and then he has the scale coming up, and then C minor right here, and then we're back into C minor. So he kind of just sneaks this A flat in there, and then all of a sudden we're back into C minor. So very sneaky way of doing that, and he just has a little bit of freedom in here. And actually, I'm going to say the coda starts right here because coda starts right here. This was not part of the recapitulate or the exposition. And then he's kind of having a little, just a retardando right here, and he's just trying to restate the themes one last time as whole. And then this moment is interesting because this sounds quite reminiscent of the Tempest Sonata, which is not going to be written until 1801 or so, or thereabouts. So it's interesting to have this this arpeggio going through here. So he's combining these motives right here. He's missing the dum bum 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 bum. He's missing that little section right here, but then he's just bringing back he's just combining these two motives right here together at the very end, like you see here as well. And then he just fragments. He just breaks it apart, and he ends just really quietly. And that's pretty much it. Not very impressive of an ending, but you don't need to end loud and violently every sonata, but there you go. That is pretty much the Beethoven Fifth Piano Sonata in C minor in a nutshell. I hope that helped you out a little bit, and I'll be doing more of these analyses in the future. So thank you all very much for watching. Leave a like if this helped you out. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more of this and keep up to date with what I'm doing. And I'll see everybody else later. Take care.